We're doing a competition to feed the racers. We're each making a chicken meal, and the racers are going to be able to vote on which ones are favorites. So each week, for the next 2 weeks, we're going to show you our meals. I'm going to go first, and I'm making pulled chicken polenta cakes. I'm making pulled chicken with an apple cider sauce, put on polenta cakes, and top it with avocado cream and pico. And what are you going to cook for yours?
So that sounds delicious, but I'm doing a Bear Lake raspberry Asian chicken with fried rice.
Mine will win. I'll show you this week how to make the pulled chicken and the polenta cakes, and it's out of this world.
Sassy, sassy.
Smoke, smoke, smoke.
Hello, I'm Jen. And I am going to spatchcock a chicken today. And I've done it a few times, and it can be a little tricky, so I'll go slow. Here's your chicken. You pat it dry after you take it out, but don't rinse it. That's very important, not to rinse your chicken, but just pat it dry a little bit. And then I usually start with the breast up, just to make sure I am looking at the chicken correctly. And I laugh but sometimes you do get a little mixed up if you don't know your anatomy very well, breasts and legs. But to spatchcock, it's best to flip it over so you have the back. And the best way to do this is to take the backbone completely out. Some people leave it in and just cut one side. I like to take mine out because then the chicken will lay a little bit more flat. Most chicken on this side are not very meaty, so you can usually feel the backbone right away. And then you just start on one side with a very sharp knife. I usually just pierce in the middle and start on one end and try not to get grossed out by all the cracking, but of course it's bone. And you have to, really get your muscle in there a little bit. And depending on the sharpness of your knife, which hopefully is very sharp, you can saw through it, or you can just kind of poke at it a little bit. Poking usually helps break it a little bit quicker, and then you can just, there we go. So I have one side of the bone severed. You can see that. Then I flip it over so I can get the other side. And same thing, find a really good spot to start. Sometimes it is a little stubborn and you have to re-find your spot. But please, we're at home. You're cooking probably for your family or your friends or just for you. Or even you're not even going to, you're going to shred it later. It doesn't have to look perfect. Best if the backbone completely comes out. Very easy. Toss it. Now, depending on what you're doing, you usually season it, flip it over, but it will lay nice and flat and it cooks so much faster. Sometimes we do this for Thanksgiving, just so your turkey cooks a little bit faster, but there you go. Ta-da!
Jen just finished spatchcocking it for us. I'm going to flip it over. You see how it lays flat? And we're just going to do some seasoning. I'm using a smoky sweetness. It is actually made by Hooks Rub and Spices. He's a local person here in the neighborhood that makes rubs. As I said, the chicken is just part of the overall meal, so I'm not going to get too heavy or worry about too much. I just want to get on the grill, get some smoke. I have the smoker set at 275. I'm gonna lay this flat, this side down. And I'm guessing 35 minutes. We'll let you know what it comes out to be. And so we're gonna go throw it on the smoker and we'll pull it when it gets to 165. For my pulled chicken, I'm making apple cider barbecue sauce. This is a quick and easy sauce to make. First, I'm going to add 1.5 cups of apple cider. Add 1 cup of ketchup. 1/3 cup of molasses. 1/3 cup of brown sugar. And I have a teaspoon of pepper, 2 teaspoons of paprika, and 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm going to stir this over medium heat for about 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, I'm going to put it in like a cast iron, something that's safe for the smoker, and I will put it out and let it simmer on the smoker for a while to get some smoke in it. You can also add liquid smoke if that isn't an option for you. The final component of our polenta cakes is an avocado crema sauce, and this is super easy to make. It's 1 avocado, 3/4 cup of sour cream, 1/4 cup buttermilk, and I squeezed 2 limes in there, and you can add a little bit of salt also. And then you just put it through processor and blend. Our chicken reached the internal temperature at 165, so I pulled it off. What I'm going to do is let it sit for at least 15 minutes, and then we'll come back in and pull it apart. All right, the chicken rested for about 15 minutes, and we're going to tear into it. See, look at that. Look how juicy that is. Oh. The juices are just coming out. So I'm tearing the wings off. The skin's kind of rubbery. Like I said, if you want a crisper skin, you got to cook it higher than 275. But since I'm just pulling it, I'm not too worried about it. And I'm just literally pulling all the chicken off and shredding it with my hands here. So like I said, this was on there until about 165. I'm going to finish pulling this off the bone and I'll put it in an aluminum pan, and then we'll add a little bit of broth and seasoning and some butter, and I'll put it back on for another 20 minutes or so just to get it going. I just finished shredding all the chicken. I put them in this 9-inch baking dish. And what I'm going to do is add a little bit more of the seasoning. Not a lot, just a little bit. I'm going to throw a little bit of chicken stock. And then just for some extra fat, I have probably 1/2 cube of butter, 1/2 stick of butter. I just sliced up. We'll put this back on the smoker at 300 degrees. I'll turn it a couple times. We'll be on there about 20-25 minutes. The chicken is finishing up on the grill, and I made some polenta cakes. And what I did is I took a roll of polenta that you get at the store, and I chop it, probably about 1/4 inch width. This says use 1/2 inch, but I think that's too big. So use 1/4 inch, and I put olive oil on it, and I sprinkle a little bit of barbecue seasoning, and I put them on the grill. You can see it's got the grill marks and everything. And just get them, just get them warm, cook through. The polenta's already cooked, so really you're just heating it up and trying to get a little crust on the outside. Here's the pulled chicken. Very tender, very juicy. I've actually tasted a couple pieces already. So like I said, this sat on there for another 25 minutes after I put the stock and the butter, and it's ready to go. So this chicken, now that it's ready, it can be used for many meals. You might want to use, pulled chicken nachos. You can definitely make a pulled chicken sandwich. Put it on a flatbread and have a pizza with it. Like I say, we're going to put it on these polenta cakes. So I'm just going to scoop a little bit. I'm not going to prepare all of it. I'm just going to take a couple spoonfuls. And you could do the whole thing all at once if you want. It's completely up to you. I'm just putting in a bowl here. I'm just dumping some of our sauce. I'm just giving it a quick mix. And you can prepare as little as much as you want. I probably should have done a little bit more. I'm just going to use my hands and pile them on. So I should have done a little bit more, but that's okay. Get 6 out of this, and I'll finish these other 2. And then I'm going to add our cream, our avocado cream. You can spoon it on. I'm just using a squeeze bottle. You can make it artistic. You can just dab it on. All right, and for the final topping, I just got some Pico. This is from the local grocery store. But it's easy to make. It's just basically tomatoes, onions, cilantro, lime, salt. And we're just going to spoon that on top. There's no heat to this. In fact, this entire meal has no heat, since I am making it for a lot of people with different palates. So this is our finished product. Like I said, you have the polenta, the pulled chicken, the avocado cream, and the pico. I'm going to take a bite real fast. I believe this will take me to first place in the competition. These are amazing. Simple dinner. People love it. The nice thing is, you don't use all the chicken, and you can use the rest of the chicken for nachos or any other items that might take pulled chicken. I can't wait to get these. I can't wait for all the drivers to taste this. We'll see you at the races.